Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. This show is interesting because it gives you little bits at a time, and it's just so weird. Um, I think the last time I felt like that was when I was watching Port Charles. That was a crazy show. So, Brooke and Taylor. So Brooke offers an olive branch. She wants to sit there and kind of forget the past, move forward, be friends. They have a lot in common. They have grandchildren in common, and just people that they know. And she's telling her that it'll be in both of their best interests if they're friends. Now we all know that the saying, "Keep your friends close, your enemies closer." And you can tell during the conversation that there's still some growing pains to this whole being friends thing. There's one part where she, and not so suddenly, pretty much asks, "Oh, so when's your next adventure?" As in, when the hell you get out of LA? And of course, Taylor's not any better. There's one point when they're talking about the grandchildren and Douglas, and how Douglas was sitting there talking about Taylor while she was tucking him in for bed. And of course, Taylor was like, wait, you mean Hope and Liam wasn't there to tuck him in or anything like that? Now, Hope was like, sometimes they work, Brooke was like, sometimes they work late, so, like to come in and fill in from time to time. And Ashton Taylor was like, "Oh, well, Thomas is doing a lot better. Maybe he should spend more time with his father." I'm like, maybe that should be between Hope and Thomas. How about that? How about it being between Hope and Thomas? Especially her little comment about, she's not really, he's not really spending a lot of time with his real grandmother. I'm like, but if Douglas, loves Brooke and loves spending time with him, regardless if, biologically, she's not his grandmother, doesn't mean that the love is, any less. So the fact that she said that a couple of times is like, really, Taylor? Really? And I'm sorry, but this holier than thou attitude of, my work and all the important things that I do and learning forgiveness, this, that, and the third, and yet you're making digs about her almost every chance that you get. Now again, it's hard for me to sit there and take sides between the two because, to be honest, I don't know, who messed over more, between their back and forth, who did the worst. So it's kind of hard for me to sit there and kind of take sides. And Brooke, again, has been saying some stuff, especially when I started watching this again, that's just been like, Brooke, really? We're really doing this? But, yeah. So on a side note, when are they actually going to do something about that wig? Because it's, there's a lot of times where it's a little kind of distracting. When are you going to do something about that? And it's funny, too, because I'm not the only person that says that. A couple other people have been saying that online. And it's just one of those things where it's like, is there a reason why we're doing this whole wig thing? What is going on? I genuinely want to know. If it's a medical concern, then I'm gonna feel like a really awful person. But if it was just a hairstyle that went wrong or something like that, what are we doing? But I don't know. So Steffi is still sitting there trying to play matchmaker again, because why not? And Ridge is like, listen, I don't sit there and practically think about the past. I enjoy. I love being my wife. We have some issues, but, we're going to get past it. And, Steffi is acting like a 7-year-old child trying to wish for her parents to get back together. I'm like, you're a grown-ass woman. And I get that she wants her dad to be happy. That's all good and well. But does she dislike Brooke that much to the point where she's trying to play matchmaker. I mean, she hasn't been going hardcore yet, but just oh, so, did you ever sit there and think what it would be like if, you stayed with mom? Like, no. No, he really didn't. Which is why he said he do to Brooke. So anyway, you talk about that for a little bit. Finn comes in there, he leaves, and of course Finn gets the text from Sheila asking him to, see him for Christmas. And right on the... And the sad thing is that he looked at the phone and he looked like he was so nervous to look back at Steffi. Like he was just so shook. And I'm like, bro, are you really that worried about her reaction that she's just gonna fly off the handle? And she sort of does a little bit. The minute that she gets a text, Steffi's all like, oh, well, that's Sheila trying to take advantage and this, that, and the third, and, trying to worm your way back into your life. I know this is a complicated situation. You do, and yet you're still just, what I'm saying? Like, your voice is getting louder. You're getting more angrier, but you're sitting there saying, well, this is a complicated situation for her. Do you? Now, I've seen online, again, and, I mean, granted, this is on the actress that plays Steffi's page. People are just like, oh, well, Finn ain't man enough for my Steffi. And I'm just like, really? Like, we're really going to go there. And granted, of course, that's her page, so you're going to have all the Steffi fans on her page siding with her like there's no tomorrow. But, I don't know. There's a fine line between supporting your wife, making compromises, and being a yes man. Being that person that you're so terrified of your significant other's reaction that you're just like, well, I don't know what to say. I mean, I gotta sit there and look at her at some point. Come on, bro. Like, really? I mean, granted, Sheila is Sheila. She's dangerous. She's done some really terrible things in the past, like killer bees. Okay. Did she really use killer bees at one point to someone? Because I know I heard it in the show, but I'm just like, did this chick really use killer bees? That's some next level ish right there. That's some psychotic, sociopathic stuff at that point. So did she actually do that? She actually used killer bees on someone? Anyway, the point is, I get that Steffi, for lack of a better word, cannot stand Sheila. And I get that, she wants her family, including Finn, to have no relationship with her whatsoever. And I know I'm going to be the odd one to sit there and say this, but I'm going to sit there and say this anyway. I mean, what's the harm? And I know it sounds really stupid. I'm probably going to get roasted in the comment section, but what's the harm on at least having Finn visit her on Christmas, where she's going to be alone by herself anyway? I don't understand that. She's not inviting her over to the house to sit there and hang out with her and the grandkids. She's just saying, all right, listen, I don't like this woman at all, but it's Christmas. That's your mom. I get it. If you want to spend an hour with her or whatever, cool. But she flies off the handle every single chance that she has gotten. And if she doesn't want a relationship with her and her children and stuff like that, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But Finn is a grown-ass man. And you're pretty much sitting there treating him like he's one of your children. Really? Speaking of Sheila and Deacon, they seem like they just pretty much had the exact same conversation from yesterday. Sheila's upset that, Taylor's back and it's just much more harder to try to spend time with Finn, and Deacon While some people may sit there and say he's being a negative Nancy, a Debbie Downer, whatever you want to call it, Deacon's just kind of looking at this like, yo, listen, you gotta, I'm not trying to be rude or mean or anything like that, but, you know, the reality is, you may not be able to sit there and see your children, your child, especially knowing that Taylor's back. I mean, Steffi has already been being a big enough roadblock. Imagine Taylor being there. I feel like, unfortunately, she's not going to really get anywhere unless she does something drastic. And by something drastic, I mean something dangerous as far as putting either Taylor or Steffi's lives in harm. I remember when she came over to Steffi's place and she started stepping up in her face like, when Steffi was like, yo, you gotta leave, you gotta get out. And Taylor heard and Sheila heard everything that she said and was still just like, nah, I'm good, I'm just gonna stay here. I just want to sit there and see my grandchildren, or my grandchild. Like, well, what happens if she said no, you're just gonna move her out the way? I feel like it's probably gonna get to that point because I don't really see another way around it. Unless Finn decides to grow a pair and actually be like, hey, you know what? Maybe seeing her for an hour may not, end the universe. Just a thought. That's the only way I see that happen. By the way, I did see the previews for a little bit, and it did look like Steffi was very unhappy with Finn and Sheila being together. I don't exactly remember what it was. I don't remember if Sheila was at their house or something along those lines, but she wasn't happy. So, yeah. I think that's about it. So, my two questions of the day is, did Sheila actually use killer bees on someone? Or attempted to use killer bees on someone? And two, how much of a bad idea would it be for Finn to see Sheila? Not inviting her over the house or anything like that, but just spending some time with her for a little bit, away from the family. Like, what is the real harm or concern, that you think that will cause a problem in the future? Because I'm kind of lost at this point. And that's mostly due to, well, to be honest, I don't really know Sheila's background too well. I mean, I know that she shot Taylor. She says she did by accident, whatever. And apparently she used killer bees, which that is yet to be determined. But that was all in the past. So I guess my question is, what is the concern of Finn and Sheila having some sort of relationship? Or minimal relationship? What is the harm in that? That's my question for today. So with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.